Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to our first Atlantic crossing in the indie builds and working title Boeing 707. Today we are flying from New York's John F. Kennedy Airport to Paris Orly on the TWA Flight 802, which is a real-world historic flight operated on the 707 between New York and Paris. We are departing at 21:45, so those of you who have asked to get a nighttime flight are finally getting something to their cost over here. Now, I'd say we are gonna go straight into this and prepare our 707 for today's ride. So join me up in the flight deck over here, and then we can start a little bit of a setup. So we're gonna take a seat on the captain's seat over here, and just starting with a couple of basics. The emergency flap switch is guarded, the landing lights are off, landing gear lever is down, the galley power is off, and then let's just move the flight engineer seat backwards a bit so that we can see something, and the electric hydraulic pumps are turned off. Then we can move over to the flight engineer seat. We are going to turn on the battery over here, and then let's move right down to the side and start our APU so that we can get some air conditioning going as well as the AC powers. Now, before we get into anything else, how about we just get started with our flight plan? So let's go ahead and have a very quick look at what we are gonna do today. And here it is. So we're departing New York, and then we're heading along the shores of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, heading across the Atlantic and just south of Ireland, and then we're making landfall in Great Britain before setting course southbound towards Paris. The significant weather chart, at least if we look at the upper level chart, is actually quite good for us on our North Atlantic track over here. And then the second half over in Europe is fantastic, with a couple of CBs on the shore of France. In terms of the weather, New York is offering fantastic weather, 27 degrees still, so pretty warm. And then Paris for tomorrow is actually going to be quite fine. They do have some bad weather this evening, but that's not going to bother us with our arrival tomorrow morning. Our outlet in Brussels has absolutely fantastic weather conditions, and with that in mind, let's have a look at the top of our plan over here. Leaving Kennedy at 01:45, we're going to arrive on time in Orly. The weights are all looking good down here, and then we can just go straight down into the fuel section. And for that, they want us to fly with basically 109,000 pounds of fuel. I do honestly not see many reasons to take extra over here. However, we can expect some rather early descents into Paris, so we are going to take some 2,000 pounds extra for that. So we're going to call it 111,000 pounds of fuel for today's flight. Well, and now that this is decided, let's go right into it, and our APU should have started up by now. And indeed, that is looking fantastic down here. So let's go ahead and fire that thing onto the buses like this. Generator is coming online, and I'm also going to turn the APU air on so that we get some air conditioning live. Well then, with that done, let's go ahead and turn all the lights up over here like this in the back, and then we can take a seat on the captain's seat. Couple of things for us to turn on here. Forward panel floodlights are gonna come on, and we are obviously gonna turn all of those on. Alright, that's looking good. And then we've got the lights on the FO side. Well, actually all except for the red lights. Control stand, compass lights, front panel, all like that. And finally, let's turn the dome light on as well. And like that, our 707 is looking quite nice, isn't she? Alright, first things first, let's go ahead and turn on our electrical and radio masters, and then we are gonna turn the INS into a line, and then we can head over into the Navigraph charts, and we are going to grab our charts for JFK so that we can start the alignment process as quickly as possible over here. So, unload, import from SimBrief, and that's it. Okay, cool. So we got that one. Then let's head over to JFK charts, taxi charts. Let's make that thing large. Alright, and then we're looking for the parking gate and coordinates. Probably this one down here. So, do we have any gate number or anything over here? Number 28, and we're in Terminal 5, I believe? Well, we better get that right, so let's just quickly look that up. Okay, so, standing up here, that's Terminal 5, the old building. That's the former TWA terminal, from what I could tell, and we're in Gate 28. So, Terminal 5, Gate 28. Let's go ahead and find the coordinates for that. Alright, Terminal 5. And then we're looking through 28. So that's 4038.9. So north 4038.9 and west 7346.7. Alright, and insert. With that, our alignment is starting. Excellent, and then we can get started with our flight deck setup over here. So, lots of standard stuff for us to do. The lights are already set up. Over here, everything's looking good. Over here, everything is looking good. Over here, let's turn all of that stuff on. The yaw damper is coming on. Over here, everything's good. Over here, let's put the window heat on. Test the pitot and static heaters. Like that, and we are gonna turn the nav light on down there, like this. Moving down to the main panel. All the switches are set, that's all set. So, radio altimeter test is looking good. In the middle, everything is set. And on your side, radio altimeter test is good. Moving further down, weather radar is off, transponder is off. And we can set a squawk of 2000 down there. We'll do the nav radius later, flight directors are off, and all the rest is looking good. Alright, then let's move back to the flight engineers panel and get started up there. So up here, basically everything is set. Alright, then we can move further down and test all those fuel pumps. Like this, forward pumps are looking good. Then let's test the aft pumps. And that's all looking good. We're gonna leave one of them on for the APU. Crossfeed valves are all looking good. Okay, fuel gauge test is also looking good. Fuel heaters are turned off. Then let's go for the hydraulic systems. So engine pumps on, fluid shutoff valves guarded. Then let's go on to the system interconnect valve. AC aux pump 2 coming on, and low pressure light goes out. Pressure comes up, then system number 1, and that is looking good. Then let's release that parking brake, like that, and set it again, and that is looking good. Alright, interconnect valve on the brake, we can actually see the transient, then we can switch that thing back off again. Engine vibration monitor test, looks good on 1, looks good on 2. Okay, then the oil quantities are all good. So, flight number is going to be 802, and it's the 15th today, since we got to take the UTC time. Alright, flight recorder test is good, door warning test is good, oxygen test is good. Then we're moving further up, cruise altitude. I'm going to set it to level 350 initially, because what we're going to do is, we are planned in 3.1, but I will probably climb to 3.3, and we're supposed to set it 2,000 feet higher. So this is looking good. So landing system, outflow valves opening, looking good. And then going up here, the packs are all set, and the right hand side is all set. Okay, fantastic. So that's our cockpit pre-flight completed. Then let's start with our navigation, and for that we need our Asus as a starter over here. So that's going to be 128.725. No? No, it doesn't sound like it. Now this is interesting. According to St. Tensions AI, the main ATIS is 115.4. Not supposed to be able to tune that. Okay, so no ATIS for us. Well, that's a pity. Okay, yeah, then we just got the clearance on 135.05, and I suppose then we'll just get the IFR clearance straight away. And that's gonna do the job at letting us know which runway we're gonna use and stuff like that as well. Okay, good. So we are. Let's quickly get the flight plan. Okay, TWA 802, and we've got no ATIS. Kennedy delivery, TWA 802 Heavy, request IFR clearance to Paris.
TWA 802 Heavy, cleared to Paris orally via the D6 departure, radar vectors Ds, then as filed, initial climb to 5,000, departure on 135.9er, squawk 6677, expect runway 13 right.
TWA 802 is cleared to Paris with radar vectors climbing 5,000, departure 135.9er, squawk 6677, expecting 13 right.
TWA 802 Heavy, read back correct.
Okay, 6677, climbing to 5,000. And 135.9 or 13 right, that's all checked. Okay, then we can start entering all of our waypoints. So, let's bring them up over here, and we're gonna start with Merit. I'm gonna ignore that D something departure, because it is radar vectors here. Okay, so number 1, and that is gonna be Merit. And that's located at 4122.9. And 73082. So, Merit is number 1, then we have Hartford 4138.5. And 7232.8. Then we've got Putnam 4157.3. And 7156. Then next up is going to be Canny, and that's 4238.0. And 67 west. Like that. Okay, Nanzo is next, 4429.3. And 56043. Okay, then we continue on. Next is going to be Rafin at 4453.0. And 5148.3. Okay, next we got our North Atlantic track, and that's going to be 45 north, 50 west. Like that. Then we got 48 north, 40 west. And then we've got 51 north, 30 west. Alright, and that's all the North Atlantic points we can enter for the time being. So, our INS is theoretically speaking ready, but I'm not gonna turn it into nav just yet, because I want the accuracy index to decrease as far as somehow possible. That's so that we can really do everything to get the greatest possible navigation accuracy. One thing we still have to do is to load our aircraft. So let's go into the aircraft menu, flight performances, mass and balance. So just gonna change that here. Passenger mass is gonna be 200 pounds per passenger. We are completely full over here. Then, how much cargo do we have? 45,155. So something like this. And finally for the fuel we said we wanted something like that. Alright, load aircraft and load immediately. And that ends us up at a 0 fuel weight. Well, we don't really have that here, but with a takeoff weight of 328.2. Okay, 328.2. When we compare that with our flight plan, then we are 8,000 pounds heavier. Looking into the ops impact, weight change up 1 plus 300 pounds. So we are basically looking at 6 times 3. Yeah, we are okay with the fuel we loaded. We're just about at the minimum fuel then. But that's okay. Minimum is acceptable. Cool. So we're done with all of that. Let's go ahead and calculate our takeoff speeds. Down here they are. And just update that, please. All looking good. Alright, set box, set trim. And here we go. Speed box, thrust box, and trim. Ooh. Right at the limit, huh? What does that look like on the aircraft menu? Center of gravity, 12%. Yeah, outer limit. Congratulations. Someone did not do their job. Alright, what do we have everywhere? Gonna make that thing a bit more tail heavy. So let's go over here. Instead of 14.3, we're gonna call that 9.3. So, like that. And then on the back, we'll add those 5,000 pounds on, so that's gonna be 18,900. Alright, that center of gravity is a lot better. What's wrong over here? 9,300 pounds? Why is it showing red? I mean, it shouldn't matter. 17% MAC. Alright, that's good enough. Cool, so we got that stuff. Let's just update this and set trim again, 4.2. That's, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, so... I mean, yeah, over here, center of gravity seems to be accurate. Even though I have a feeling that there's something wrong somewhere in the numbers with the center of gravity, but it's all we can do, so it is all we will do. Alright, INS has finished. Accuracy index is not going to get any higher than this. And just as a sanity cross check, waypoint change 0 to 1. Insert 52 nautical miles, and according to the flight plan, it should be... yeah, good enough. Alright, fantastic. Then we're basically done here. So let's go ahead and do our departure briefing. Threats for today's departure, honestly, I do not see any. Alright, so we are going to depart from New York's Kennedy Airport, runway 13 left, or runway 1, actually is it left? No, it's runway 13 right. Pushback, probably nose to the left, and then standard taxi out, and it's going to be a radar vector departure, climbing to an altitude of 5,000 feet. We've got nothing special, we've got nothing non-standard, and extra fuel and time is basically 0. Alright, so no hotspots on the taxi out, stop margin for an RTO is not going to be a lot over here. We need... where is it? 9,700 feet of runway. We do have a little bit more than that, so let's see. We got 14,000, so we're looking at a stop margin of around 4,500 feet over here. Engine out sits straight at 25 to pick up the holding, and we've got nothing special, nothing non-standard. And if we need to make an immediate return, we're above the maximum landing weight, about approximately 15 minutes for fuel dumping. If things need to go fast, the runway is long enough and we can just do an immediate re-landing. Do you have any questions or suggestions on our departure briefing? Nope? Fantastic. Then let's say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of TWA, I would like to welcome you all on board of our Boeing 707 on our flight to Paris. We are looking at a flight time of 6.5 hours and mostly smooth flight. For now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the trip with us, and we will get back to you with the latest weather when we start the approach to Paris. Thank you very much for your attention, and once again, welcome on board. Okay, cool. So all that stuff is done. So let's go ahead and do the checklist, please. So, before start checklist. Cockpit preparation complete, emergency flaps off, Mach airspeed warning checked, anti-skid checked on, rudder and spoiler switches on, emergency exit lights armed, no smoking and seatbelt switches on, compass controller mode switch slaved, radio altimeters checked, yaw damper engaged, window heat low. Pneumatic brake checked, flight instruments altimeter and flight director set and cross-checked, compass is cross-checked, instrument transfer switch is normal, radius radar and transponder set and standby, start levers cut off, park and brake set, rudder and aileron trims 0, battery on, and fuel, let's see, what do we got there? 11,300 pounds. Set for start, and air conditioning units off before start checklist complete down to the line. Alright. So, all that good stuff is done. Let's tell GSX to prepare for pushback and departure. Then we can quickly go outside and remove the chocks down here. Otherwise, things are looking fancy during the pushback. And yeah, then all we need is the QNH, which is 3016. And that is now set. Down here and over here as well. Alright, fantastic. So, let's give ground a shout and get our pushback. So, 0.9 Kennedy ground, TWA 802 heavy, request pushback and startup.
TWA 802 heavy, push and start approved, tail southwest.
Push and start approved, tail southwest, TWA 802. Okay, galley power is off, and fuel pumps. One per tank. Okay, cool. Before start checklist below the line. Galley power off, start pressure checked, beacon on, before start checklist complete. What the hell is GSX doing there? Aren't you giving me a proper menu? Okay, facing northwest, spot 16, and then the park and brake is released.
Push and start approved.
Roger that, start on the pushback, and you're clear to start the engines.
Pushback approved, JetBlue 26.
Thank you, we'll start 3421, and we'll commence engine number 3 now. Clear 3. Engine 3 start.
Engine start valve. Cross-check. Welcome aboard Trans-World Airlines Flight 802 Our estimated flight time is 3 hours. As it contains important information needed for our frequent flyers. Fasten your seatbelts by inserting the metal releasing buckle until
Oil pressure rising.
the seatbelt must remain fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is moved. Please return your seat back
Starter release.
to the upright position and open your window blinds for takeoff. Mobile phones
JetBlue 1419 request push and start clearance.
and larger devices should
JetBlue 1419, push and start approved.
smoking.
Okay, we have a good start on 3, starting 4.
JetBlue 1419.
Clear 4.
Engine start valve.
Oxygen masks will drop automatically if needed. Pull
And the pushback is completed. Please set your parking brakes.
Secure your own mask.
Parking brake set.
15% and 2. Lever to start.
Put it on and inflate it only after leaving the aircraft. Lower level lighting.
Something we forgot earlier.
Give way to the JetBlue A320 ahead.
Case of evacuation.
Oil pressure rising.
1215 is set.
Any electronic device becomes hot or
Starter release.
inform the crew member right away. The safety information card in your seat pocket contains all details. Thank you for your attention. We wish you a pleasant flight.
Nah.
50% and 2. Lever to high.
Hey, what are you doing? Okay, starting engine number 2. That thing is a little buggy here. Alright, here we go. Kennedy 5. Now it's pipped. Fantastic.
15% and 2. Lever to start.
Okay, so Kennedy VOR 15.9. That's what I wanted to set.
326, runway 13 right taxi,
Oil
via
pressure
Hotel Bravo,
rise.
Bravo Bravo, Golf, Alpha Alpha, Hotel Alpha, Quebec, Papa Foxtrot.
Starter release.
Runway 13 right taxi via Hotel Bravo, Bravo Bravo, Golf, Alpha Alpha, Hotel Alpha, Quebec, Papa Foxtrot, Endeavour 532.
50% and 2. Lever to high.
Okay, and one more. Engine 1 start.
Engine start valve. %, and 2. Lever to start.
JetBlue 1419er, runway 22 right taxi, via Delta Alpha Alpha, Delta Bravo, Yankee Alpha Echo, hold short of runway 31 right.
Oil pressure rising.
Runway 22 right taxi via Delta Alpha Alpha, Delta Bravo, Yankee Alpha, Echo, hold short of runway 31 right, JetBlue 1419er.
50% and 2. Lever to high.
Delta 2639er, give way to
Okay,
the
ground.
JetBlue
Forward
A320
starts,
ahead.
clear to disconnect. Show me the pin. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Alright, so anti-ice is not required. That's gonna come on, and then we can jump over to the engineer. Okay, getting those frequencies under control. Here we go, probably the best we're gonna get.
Delta 208, cross runway 31 right.
Okay. So we'll put all of that on Gen 2. Fuel pumps on, hydraulic pumps on. Bleed off, APU off, and lastly, bleed air and air conditioning on. Okay, all looking good.
JetBlue 1723, cross runway 31 right.
So, after start checklist, ground equipment clear, hydraulics, pressure quantity, normal, interconnect is closed. Doors closed, after start checklist complete. TWA 802, request taxi.
TWA 802 heavy, runway 13 right taxi, via Whiskey Bravo, November, Quebec, Papa Foxtrot.
Runway 13 right, taxi Whiskey Bravo, November, Quebec, Bravo, Foxtrot, TWA 802. Alright, we're over here, so... that's gonna be straight out. Whiskey, Bravo. All the way around. November, Quebec, and Papa Foxtrot. Okay, so fairly long taxi ahead of us. Let's better get going. Okay, dome light off, and let's see. Overhead panel. Nope, not you. Which one is it? Not you. Oh god, panel's too complex. Too many light controls. That one. Alright, think this is looking good now. So we're clear on the left side, and we're clear on the right side. Parking brake is off.
Pushback. Delta 227, push and start at your discretion. Delta 7.
So straight out, and then
1419er, give way to the company
towards
A320
Whiskey and then Bravo. So that's pretty much where the next terminal begins.
Giving way to the company A320, JetBlue 1419er.
I can barely see anything outside. I tell you what, if this reads Whiskey Alpha, that's different from our charts here. So I'm just gonna use Whiskey Alpha. May not be 100% correct, but gotta admit, I do not really care. Okay, then we're on Bravo. Now it's gonna be the long way around JFK Airport. But look at that takeoff there, the approaches there. Gotta be some fantastic Canasi approaches today. That we're unfortunately not really gonna see. Alright. So now it's the long way around. Forward center panel. I'm just gonna turn that one a little bit darker. Okay guys, I'm probably going to speed this up a little, because this is going to be quite the way around the airport. Okay, we are now taxiing on Quebec, over here, next to the UA cargo stands, and this is going to lead us all the way to Papa Foxtrot, which is the full-length runway 13 right. Okay, while we're taxiing here, let's go ahead and revise our takeoff briefing. It is going to be a left-seat takeoff, runway 13 right, flaps 14, and noise abatement procedure number 2. Don't worry, we have not set the flaps yet, that is actually intentional over here. Okay, so noise abatement procedure number 2, and the departure is basically just a straight out departure radar vectors to Merit, and then INS navigation thereafter. Okay, our takeoff speeds are going to be 143, 148, 162, and engine out straight at 25 to pick up the holding. Alright. And that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions on the briefing? No? Fantastic. Then before takeoff checklist down to the line and flaps 40. So flight controls. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral, and the rudder is operative. I can feel that in my feet here. Okay, cool. So before takeoff checklist to the line, nacelle anti-ice off, ground start switch off, yaw damper checked, window heat low. Prop heaters on.
JetBlue 2839, push approved.
Okay, flight director, flight instruments and radios set for departure, speed brake lever, full forward, flaps 14 set and indicating.
8 kilo, runway 13 right, taxi via
Okay, start levers, idly turn, stabilizer trim, 4 units, flight controls checked.
Contact tower on 119.1. Have a good evening.
119.1, TWA 802, bye bye.
Austrian 8 kilo, give way to the Air China Freight 777 ahead.
Kennedy Tower, TWA 802 Heavy, ready for departure. Okay, so electricals checked.
TWA 802 Heavy, Kennedy Tower, runway 13 right, line up and wait.
13 right, line up and wait, TWA 802 Heavy. Galley power on, fuel set for takeoff, fuel leads off, hydraulics checked, APU door open light extinguished, flight deck door closed and locked, takeoff briefing and data reviewed and box set.
TWA 802 Heavy, runway 13 right, winds 190 at 6, fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Fly runway heading, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff, TWA 802 Heavy. Okay, I'm gonna leave the right landing lights off because those are the lights that illuminate the inside of the cockpit in the current version here. So just gonna ignore that for the time being. Cool, so radar is coming on, transponder is coming on, all the rest is already done. And then we're cleared for takeoff. Before takeoff checklist below the line. Icon and press, set for takeoff, that's automated. Transponder on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Okay, ready? Then take off. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust.
Setting takeoff.
Tracked. You're up. You have ATC.
I've got the radios, Emmanuel.
Alright, the FO is on the radios.
Endeavour 5326, number 113 right, ready.
Airborne on the runway heading.
Endeavour 5326, winds 190 at 6, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff.
Here's the 1000 AGL, acceleration altitude.
Setting 5 miles.
Contact departure.
Contact departure, TWA 802 Heavy.
Would you look at the fantastic lights of New York City here?
TWA 802 Heavy. Good evening, climb to 1,500 on D6.
TWA 802
Hey, flaps up.
Departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 10,000, turn left heading 360, then direct D's when able.
Climb and maintain 10,000. Left heading 360, then direct D's when able. TWA 802 Heavy.
Okay, so left heading 360. Some vectoring to get outside of the immediate arrivals, I suppose. And then we'll ask him for merit in a couple of moments. So here's 250 knots. Heading back to 360, looking good like this.
Endeavour 5326, 2,000 for 4,000.
Endeavour 5326, New York departure, climb and maintain 8,000.
Alright.
Out of 2,000 for 8,000, Endeavour 5326.
So we are basically in trim. Then we'll turn the autopilot on into heading mode. And the flight directors as well. Okay, cool. And with that, we are on automation. Very good. After takeoff items, back here. Air conditioning is currently overheated, but yeah, when you turn those on, that problem is gonna solve itself. Okay. And up here, everything is looking good. Gonna keep the passengers seated for the time being. Then let's see if we can maybe get it direct to Merit. TWA 802 Heavy, any chance to proceed direct Merit? Fantastic. So from 0 to 1, insert and nav mode. Alright, excellent. Then we're on INS navigation, and we're gonna stay that way for the next 6.5 hours. In the meantime, we can enjoy the fantastic lights out here. And then when we have a moment after takeoff checklist. Anti-ice off, engine start control selectors off, and no smoking seatbelt signs. For the time being are both on, landing gear up and off. Flaps up, no lights, hydraulics, pressure and quantity normal, aircon and press, checked and set, and after takeoff checklist complete. Checked. Okay, differential pressure is rising, cabin is climbing slowly. Fantastic.
On 118.975, TWA 802 Heavy.
Okay, let's just update the direct here. 01, insert.
TWA 802 Heavy. Good evening, climbing through 10,000 for 11,000 on D6.
TWA 802 New York Center, good evening, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Set. 190 checked. Alright. Hold off. Let's get climbing again.
American 300 New York Center, roger.
Climb and maintain flight level 190, TWA 802.
Okay, 300 knots. Accelerating. 1,000 feet a minute seems good for that. And we're on course to Merit. Alright. So, from here on out, things are gonna get a little bit easier. We're not quite at the transition altitude yet, but I tell you what, let's already set standard since we are cleared to a flight level. So, 2992 is cross-checked, and we're gonna keep the lights on until 18,000. Signs can be turned off now. Well guys, and with that, we are up here on our flight to Paris. Just around 6.5 hours ahead of us. Now, let's have a very quick look down here. So, Hotel Fox Delta VOR and Putnam VOR are going to be the next interesting ones. That first one is 14.9. You stay on. Alright, here's 14.9, and then we got Putnam thereafter. And that's on 117.4. Okay, great. Both of them are selected. And we're already receiving the second one. Excellent, so we can use that for updates of our INS along the way. Well guys, so we're up and on the way. Always impressive how super large the New York area just is. But yeah guys, then I'll see you on the other side. Enjoy a beautiful sunrise later on, and then I'll see you on the other side when we start the approach towards Paris-Orly. Alright everyone, we are approaching Paris and ATC has already taken us on a radar vector over here. We're on heading 050, maintaining level 100, and they just told us that we've got approximately 50 track miles remaining. So we can expect to maintain this level here for a little bit. The weather here in Paris is quite okay, some high-lying clouds, apart from that, beautiful weather conditions. And you might have noticed that just about at the time we reached England, I had to deal a little bit with the INS. That's because I misprogrammed the automatic DME updating, and the INS drifted off by approximately 1,500 nautical miles just after we passed Land's End. Now, luckily we could simply correct that, because we had Goodwood and Southampton VORs on our route, so we could just fly to Goodwood conventionally, and then over at Goodwood press the position hold key, and then enter the actual position of our aircraft over at Goodwood VOR, and with that we had our INS back in limits. Alright, sounds complex, but believe me, it is really not all that complex. I do hope to be able to do some tutorials on these kind of things very soon, so that you guys could have a look at that directly. But now let's go ahead and have a look at the little more pressing matters over here. And that's going to be our approach into Paris. So let's go ahead and start with a look at the weather. So Orly is giving us 340 at 27... 77,000 TWA 802. Alright, set. 7,000 checked. So, down to idle. Speed back to 250. And then, just so that ATC is happy, let's just give him a shallow descent over here while we are reducing speed. Like that. That's looking good. Alright, and we're going below 100, so lights are coming on and the sights are on already. Okay, fantastic. And the air condition and pressurization back here is coming down. Cabin differential 4 psi, cabin is descending and descending nicely. Okay, fantastic. So all that good stuff is done. Then we are below level 100, so let's have a look into the ILS chart to get you guys filled in on what exactly our plan is for today's arrival. So runway news 25, let's pin that one. And I also want to pin the parking charts here, which is going to be parking stand south apron. That one. Alright, fantastic. With that we got all the stuff we need. So 11175 are going to be the frequencies, and those are both set active. And then our courses are 254 selected here. And you can have that on your side as well. Here we go, 254. Alright, the minimum's down to 488, which is 200 AGL, and that's selected over here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, field elevation is 300. Let's just make sure that our FE has actually set that. So, here we go, 300. Okay. Fantastic. Then we need our approach speeds, which we can just get from here. Field elevation is 488, like that. Plenty of runway remaining. Let's do a flap 40 landing like this. Set the speed box, and then I'm gonna reselect 250 over here. Like this. Alright, fantastic. So with that we've set everything we have to set. So let's go ahead and have a look at this. Transition 5000, so flight level 70 is still a flight level. And yeah, apart from that, let's go ahead and start the approach briefing. There's going to be radar-vec.ILS approach runway 25 into Orly, and that one is going to be checked. So radar-vec.ILS approach runway 25, MSA 2200, frequency is 11175. That's 045, descend 4000, TWA 802. Set, 4000 checked, and now we need the weather. So the QNH is 1015. Okay. Speed 200, TWA 802. I'm doing this with a speed brake just because it's a lot easier.
Volunteer 3 November Golf Paris Control radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 0.
Okay, we are receiving a glide slope. Cool. So, yeah, we were stuck in the briefing here. The approach starts at 8.5 dm and 3000, 3-degree glide down to the minimum of 488. The go-around will be radar-vec. As we are unable for any of that on-off stuff down there. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much that. Landing on runway 25. So we are going to vacate the runway to the right hand side and can do that fairly late here, Whiskey 35 or Whiskey 37. I think 35 is probably going to give us the best taxi here. Okay, do you have any questions or suggestions on the approach briefing? No? Fantastic, so that's our approach briefing completed. Then let's go for the approach checklist, please. So, descent approach checklist. Pressurization, landing field elevation 300 set, anti-ice off, air coolant valves open, circuit breakers checked, seat belts on, landing lights on, EPR and airspeed box set, altimeters, QNH checked, altimeters, let's retract that speed brake and pitch it up a tiny bit. So, QNH 1015 set cross checked, radio altimeters 200 feet set, flight director, flight instruments and radio set cross checked, fuel. Alright, is checked and set for landing, hydraulics, pressure and quantity normal, descent and approach checklist completed. So, pretty hard to slow this thing down. The 707 has a huge idle thrust, and that really shows right now. But I gotta say, it's a beautiful looking airplane. Left heading 300 TWA 802. Okay, we're passing the glide slope just now. And still a little fast here. Let's just use some speed brakes again.
Soleil 839 Paris control, radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 120. TWA 802 heavy, speed 200 knots.
Speed 200, TWA 802 heavy. Alright, now we're approaching the target speed. Here we go.
Up to flight level 120 on Soleil 839.
Alright, so 13 miles to the airport. We're right at the glide slope here.
02 heavy 5 miles from SF25. Turn right heading 310. Descend 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS Yankee runway 25 approach.
Right, 310, descended 3000 until established. Cleared ILS Yankee 25, TWA 802. Okay, down we go, and then Warlock is selected. Flaps 14.
Alpine 307 Alpha, Paris control.
Speed check, flaps 14.
Climb and maintain flight level 080.
Flight level 080, Alpine 307 Alpha.
Alright.
Contact for later on 120.5.
120.5 to WA 802. Okay, all manual flight. And flight directors off. Okay, could you please dial up the tower frequency? Orly Tower, bonjour, TWA 802 Heavy, established ILS 25.
TWA 802 Heavy, Orly Tower, bien reconnu. Continue approach runway 25.
Continue approach, runway 25, TWA 802. Alright, gear down.
TWA 802 Heavy, runway 25, winds 340 at 8. Clear to land.
Runway 25, clear to land, TWA 802. Flaps 25. Speed checked, flaps 25.
165 knots, set landing flaps.
Flaps 40. Okay, set the approach speed, please. Alright, gears down, flaps in 40, and the lights are all on. Fantastic, that's our landing checklist complete. The field elevation is around 288 feet, so we are stabilized a little early here, but with an airplane that we are, you know, not yet that familiar with, always a good idea to do that. Also, it's been a fairly long night flight, and we would not have had a relief pilot on board for a flight like this, so we would probably not have caught a lot of sleep on this night. So yeah, always a good idea to be established a little early.
1,000 feet.
Checked. And as you can see, we are completely stabilized. So you can nicely see my yoke movements at the bottom over there. That way you can see exactly how many inputs I'm doing. Or rather, how many inputs I'm not doing. Now, I couldn't find anything in the manual. Someone recently said in my comments that I have to turn the yaw damper off for landing. Now, may or may not be true. However, since we are gonna stay below 200 knots true airspeed now, we're not gonna miss that thing if we just turn it off. So try to minimize your yoke inputs. Just use as much as needed to correct any given conditions. And continue. And disregard the glide slope at the very low altitudes. Flare, idle, decrab. Touchdown!
Spoilers up.
WA802, contact ground at 121.815.
121.815, TWA 802. Okay, would you please set the frequency?
Did you know that Paris is home to the world's largest...
Holy ground, bonjour, TWA 802 Heavy, request taxi to the gate.
Flying with Transworld Airlines today. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position.
WA802, taxi to you, only one gate 226, via Whiskey Lima 3 Whiskey, bonjour.
Whiskey Lima 3 Whiskey, gauge Tango 26, TWA 802, bonjour. Okay, fantastic. So as always, vacate the runway first, deal with the other stuff second. Alright, so Whiskey is going to be straight ahead. And the gate Tango 26 will be on the other side there. See if we can get that. Yep. Okay, so we follow Whiskey all the way, Tango 26. And you are turning that way, okay. I'll probably just have to stop over here for a moment.
Airport 429 ready to taxi.
Okay, let's use that stop to move to the engineer's panel real quick. So we can turn that thing off, we can turn one pump per tank off, and then we can turn the APU on. Okay, 1015 is already selected. Very good. So, after landing checklist, please. Anti-ice off, engine control, engine start control selectors off, window heat. Here we go. Window heat off. Okay, probe heat off, flaps upper light, speed brake lever full forward, radar and transponder standby and off, galley power off, fuel pumps 1 per tank, hydraulics pressure and quantity normal, APU starting, alpha valves open. And that's the after landing checklist complete. Okay, fantastic. So the Airbuses have passed, then we can continue as well, and we are going to be in front of the Transavia. So let's see, gate, Tango 26, no that's not too small, thank you. Alright, just gonna turn those lights on again, and look at that, now the Transavia is actually stopping. That's a little late. That's correct, we can continue taxi. Oh yeah. The funny thing is that this could absolutely happen in France and the real world as well. Especially back in the day when they had less foreign pilots and when English wasn't as common as a language as it is nowadays. That could definitely have happened. Alright, so Tango 26 is right over here. Then the APU is running, lights off. Okay, here's Tango 27. And here is Tango 26. I think 27 would have been the better parking for our airplane, but okay. Alright, so nice and slowly into the gate. Remember, we're pretty light, so we do have a rather high idle thrust today. Alright, B703 is on the guidance system. Funny that we have a guidance. I mean, that would not have existed back in the day. Should have been a marshaller. Alright, stop. Cool, the parking brake is set. Then let's go to the back. And a... here we go. APU generator on. Yeah, the lights are out. Then we can actually put it on. Like this. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and shut her down. And here we go. All 4 engines running down. Well, here we are. So for a reason that's like totally beyond me, we just can't get any AC power on. You know, it tells us the ground power is on bust, but you can see from all the lights staying dark over here that we do actually not have AC power right now. So don't ask me what exactly is going on there. Gotta be a bug with the airplane, but yeah. So be it. Alright. Then the signs are going off. Everything else is basically off already. The bacon can go off as well. Shutdown checklist. Electrical. External power on. Seatbelt switch off. Beacon off. Exterior lights set, start levers cut off, parking brake set, fuel boost pumps off, hydraulic AC pumps off, air conditioning unit off, and that's the transit shutdown checklist complete. Since the airplane will depart again, the transit shutdown checks are all we'll need. And guys, with that, welcome to Paris. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your feet, ouch, back in the comments underneath the video. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and then I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.